Hello there, and welcome back to our literature series on YouTube brought to you by O3 School's JAMB app. Our topic for today is unseen literature. Unseen literature. This is an aspect that examiners do not fail to always bring questions from. So let's look at it. What is unseen literature? We say unseen literature are short passages used to test students' ability. Let's make it plural. To understand literature. We refer to it as unseen literature. Short passages that are used to test how students are able to appreciate, literary works. So to just be a short passage, and then questions will be given to you under it to test your ability to quickly appreciate or to analyze that literary work. I would say it is unseen because it is assumed that the student has not come across that work before. It is not usually it's usually acts outside the scheme given. The books could be given to you in preparation for the exam. Unseen literature questions will not come from any of those books given. So they will just extract a short passage from something outside what is given to you, and you'll be given questions on that passage to answer. That's how we refer to it as unseen. You may have seen it elsewhere, but things given to you to prepare for this class, that passage will not be part of it. It will not be it will not be extracted from something you already have, something that you're already prepared for. So that's how we refer to it as unseen. It is assumed that the student has not seen it. So even if you have seen it before, like you have read the whole thing, by the time you're given this short extract to read, assume that you're seeing it for the first time. Now, unseen literature can be drawn from the genres of literature, can be drawn from poetry, prose, or drama, although most times they are drawn from poetry. Now, let's see how to answer unseen literature questions. We say, one, students should read carefully. No need to be in a rush. Nothing good has ever come from being in a hurry. So students should read very carefully. Like I said, even if you've seen it before, like you've read the whole text somewhere, if you're given an extract from it, assume this is your first time reading it. So read carefully and try to understand where you think the question or will come from. If you like, you can even read the questions under it before you come to the passage to read. Good and fine, as long as you are reading carefully, like you've never seen it before. Because if you try to bring the whole book, sometimes the theme of the whole book can be different from that short extract given to you. The general theme will be different from the sub theme. So read carefully and read it like it's your first time seeing it. Then you note how the text was written. So you note how the text was written. You're trying to appreciate this short extract as a literature student. So you note how it was written. You note the mood, the tone, the theme. Whilst you're reading carefully, try to see what you can get based on these things. Can you get the mood? Can you get the tone or even the theme? Then, if it's for poetry, rhyming scheme, type of poem. What kind of poem is that? Is it an ode? Is it an epic? Is it a ballad or a sonnet? Elegy? try to get that as you are reading for poetry. Then if it's prose, for prose, try to get the narrative method. You can check our video on prose. Is it first person, second person, third person, narrative? Try to check that out. If it is a drama, look out for the setting, type of drama. So if it is a drama, try to check the setting. Where was this located? Where did the play happen? Or what type of drama is it? Comedy, tragedy, farce, opera, mime? Try to check that out. Then you also look out for literary techniques like figures of speech. Sometimes it could even be on the line if there's a figure of speech in it, and then it will definitely be part of the question. Okay, this sentence on the line now, what figure of speech is it containing? Something like that. So this is how we should answer questions on unseen literature. We said first of unseen literature are short passages used to test students' ability to appreciate literature, and then these are ways that we can answer them. First off, read carefully. It is unseen because it is assumed that you have not seen it before. Like this is the first time you are seeing it. What is your impression? What is your take on this as a literature student? So read carefully, like it is the first time that you're seeing it, and try to get what you can feel from it. So look out for the mood, the tone, and the theme. Then for poetry, I said check for rhyming scheme. Then we know rhyming scheme. You will get that with the last syllable of each line, and then the type of poems. We've looked at the types of poems. You can refresh your memory with the video on poetry. Then for prose, check out for the narrative method or the narrative technique. Same thing for drama, the setting, then the type of drama, as well as the literary techniques used, figures of speech, flashback, aside, monologue, things like that. Check out for them. Now let's look at some questions on unseen literature, JAMB past questions. So now we try to answer some JAMB past questions on unseen literature, and these questions were called out from the O3 Schools JAMB app. We have the short passage. Let's look at this question. We read the extract very carefully. That year, the harvest was sad like a funeral, and many farmers wept as they dug up the miserable yams. One man tied his clothes to a tree branch and hanged himself. The question says the mood conveyed in the excerpt above is one of, based on the way you read it, like what do you think the mood is like? That's what we're asked to answer. And the options here we have frustration, sympathy, dilemma, sadness. The answer here is sadness. The mood conveyed is that of sadness. Even from the first line, you get it. The harvest was sad like a funeral. Once it has gotten to a funeral stage, we are no more dealing with frustration. This is more than frustration right now. So they were all sad based on the fact that the harvest was poor, like very poor. Those that even had yams, they were too miserable, very few. So they were all sad because of the poor harvest, to the extent one even had to hang himself. So next question. So here, the unseen literature is from a poem or is a poem, let's put it that way. So once again, we still go through carefully. That age is best, which is the first, when youth and blood are warmer, but being spent the worst and worst. Time still succeeds the former. Question says the rhyming scheme in the excerpt above is. So all we have to do here is the rhyming scheme. Check out for the rhyming scheme. And to get the rhyming scheme, our focus will be on the last syllable of each sentence. So here we have a consonant sound. And here we have a vowel sound, still a consonant, and then a vowel sound. So that should give us A, B, A, B. We use alphabets to recognize, to indicate rhyming scheme rather. So this is a different, this is the first sound we indicate with A. A different sound in next alphabet, obviously B. If this had to be a different sound, this would have been C. But since it is the same with the first, we still repeat A, and this is the same with the one here, we still repeat B. So our rhyming scheme becomes A, B, A, B. From the options, that's option B. So the rhyming scheme in this unseen passage is the A, B, A, B rhyming scheme. So we look at this question and then we read the extract carefully once as usual. But the towering earth was tired, sitting in one position. She moved suddenly, and the houses crumbled, the mountains heaved horribly, and the work of a million years was lost. Question now says the subject matter of the extract above is. This extract uses a lot of personification. First off, the towering earth, tired of sitting. Sitting is like a human characteristic, and then you're giving it to the earth. The earth cannot sit. So we say the earth was tired sitting in one position. She moved. So what do you now think this extract is referring to based on all the literary techniques that has been used to portray the message? Do you understand what the author is trying to pass across here, which is what the question is asking you? After reading it, what do you think the author is trying to describe? And our options are sea waves, house movement, earthquake, storm. Our answer here is earthquake. We know earthquake is the shaking of the earth caused by volcanic eruption or movement of volcano underneath a particular area that leads to the earthwork shaking. So that's what the extract is about. Earthquake, not storm, not house movement or sea waves. This has absolutely nothing to do with seas even. And then we know storms has to do with what seas as well. So our answer here is earthquake. Next question we have. So here we have another question. An extract is given to us, a poem, and then the questions under it for us to answer. So we have move him into the sun. Gently its touch awoke him once. At home, whispering of fields unsown. Always it woke him even in France, until this morning and this snow. If anything might rouse him now, this kind old sun will know. Think how it wakes the seeds, woke once the clays of a cold star. Are limbs so dear achieved? A sight full knelt still warm, too hard to stare? Was it for this the clay grew tall? Oh, what made fatuous sunbeams toil to break earth's sleep at all? First question says the poem can be described as a or an. That means an epic, a sonnet, an elegy, or a lyric. What do we think this poem is? So the options: an epic, a sonnet, an elegy, or a lyric. First off, an epic is a poem that tells the stories of heroic deeds of heroes and their heroic deeds. Then a sonnet is simply a 14-line poem. An elegy is written to mourn like a deceased. So it usually expresses a person's loss. Then lyric is simply a poem that can be sung. So from these options, we see that this poem is a sonnet because it has 14 lines. We count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we have a sonnet here. We can't say it's an elegy because the person is not really expressing his own loss. So let's look at the next question. The theme of the poem is distortion of life, creation of life, vanity of life, futility of life. We have futility of life. This is especially evident in the questions the poet asks. Was it for this the clay grew tall? We know human beings were made from clay. Biblical version of human existence says God made the first man from clay. So I guess that's what the poet was trying to like express. Like, is this the reason why we like grow at all? Then here you said to break earth's sleep at all. So all these questions, like the poet is trying to ask, what is really the essence of, life? Why do we wake up, have dreams, things like that? So that's why I would say the theme is futility of life. Mostly the poet is just trying to wonder what's the point of it all. So the theme is futility of life. The right answer is option D. These questions were pulled out from the O3 Schools JAMB app, and there are very many more. Good thing is when you get the app, you can search for questions you want by topic. So if you get the app, you can search for questions on unseen literature, like past questions from beginning up until now. Whatever years that are available, it will check for all the questions on unseen literature and you can have them, or you can even browse by year. Okay, year 2022 questions on unseen literature, or year 2010 questions on unseen literature, and it will come out. You'll be able to practice with it. So do well to download the app and try your hands on more questions on unseen literature. Thank you.